And good morning, Buckeye Nation. Welcome to the OHIO podcast. Arthur Smith introductory practice number 3 press conference. I think we're also going to get Brandon Ennis today, Carson Hinzman, and there might be one other offensive player we might hear from today as well. So good to have all of you with us. Make sure you smash that like button this morning. We'll get, I guess the press conference will get started here shortly. That is typically what happens here. I have learned my lesson. When the practice starts at 8:05, do not expect anybody to take the podium at 11:05. That is for sure. So that's why we got started at 11:15. Chris and I are going to do a little introductory, what we're looking forward to hearing, what we're anticipating in this press conference. And then, of course, when the press conference gets started, we will have a live audio feed of the press conference. And then, of course, Chris, we will pause as necessary and give live reaction to answers or questions during the live press conference like we have done in the past. Good morning, Chris. How are you?
Oh, not too bad, Eric. And yourself?
Good. Doing well this morning. Shot a video that will be dropping here shortly on Jet Harrison, the younger brother of Marvin Harrison Jr. So, looking forward to all of you watching that. Looking forward
Who
to
may
tonight's
have a
show.
new home soon, Eric. As rumors are starting to spring that perhaps Marvin Harrison may be headed back to Ohio.
Really? Marvin Harrison Jr. Jr.
Junior.
to the
There,
Browns?
there is rumors that Andrew Berry has contacted the Arizona Cardinals and has made a very legitimate offer. So I don't know if it will be accepted, and if so, let's hope that Marv can reach his potential. But at the same time, I have my doubts considering it is the Browns.
If they were to get Marv and they still had their first round draft pick, would you want to couple him with Cardell Tate?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I figured you would.
And,
You'd
and,
be
and I'd be
you'd
and
be
I
all
would
back
put
in on the
together
Browns, wouldn't you?
I would put together a Deshaun type package to trade for CJ, and let's just go ahead and run this thing back.
Oh, there you go. I'm all for that too, man. Of course, dude. Absolutely. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. So, anyways, Arthur Smith's going to take the podium first before any of the players do. And as Tyler pointed out to us here in the chat, the other offensive lineman that's possibly getting the interview today or press conference will be Luke Montgomery. So Carson Hinzman, Luke Montgomery off the offensive line, Brandon Ennis, which I'm super interested in from the Cortez Hankton angle with
Yes.
him, as well as the wide receiver room in general. So super interested in that. But let's start with Arthur Smith while we're waiting for him to take the podium. And again, as soon as he takes the podium, we will tap into the audio and you can hear that and we will live react to it. What questions, and chat, put your questions in the chat as well. What questions would you like to have Arthur Smith be asked today, Chris?
Well, I think obviously the first question is, and it's not something that he's going to answer, I'm sure, but I would want to know just how involved is Coach Day right now with the offensive game planning during the week, and how their relationship is progressing
I
as
don't know
far
that you're
as
going to get any offensive game planning because, I mean, we have no games for several months. I think it's more about learning
well,
the
I mean,
offensive
yeah.
structure.
Well, that's what I'm speaking. Learning the structure, and how involved is Ryan Day with, uh, I guess, helping Arthur Smith to interpret it in the way that he wants it interpreted.
Hmm.
So, um, and then obviously the other one that I think every Buckeye fan wants to know is, hey, you've been criticized for being a tight end heavy set guy. Given the tools, given the talent at wide receiver, including the best player in the game, Jeremiah Smith, how do you plan to, I guess, implement your style of offense and mesh it with the skill position players that Ohio State has.
That's a great question. That's a really good question. Colton Weaver has a good one. How involved will be how involved will he be with the O-line scheme and development? Great question,
And
Colton.
it's interesting on a day where he's got two offensive linemen taking the podium with him.
Do you look into that, or do you think that's just they're just taking the
Oh,
oldest
I
guys?
absolutely am looking into that. You
Really?
know me, I like my little foil cap too, just as much as you do.
Yeah.
Well,
Tyler
and
says,
they're leaders, Eric. That's the other thing. These guys are going to be expected to be leaders as
possible
upperclassmen
captains.
now,
Yeah,
possible captains. Yeah.
absolutely. Tyler says, I want to see someone ask, is Arthur Smith helping this offensive line learn how to pick up stunt and twist? So very specific question. I think asking it in that way probably won't get the answer that you're looking for. I would probably say how I would ask it is, in the past, Arthur, how have you helped offensive linemen when it comes to stunts and twists?
And that's a very, very valid question, given the fact that that is ultimately, I think, what kept Ohio State from winning the national title last year.
100%. The offensive line really struggled in those last two games. That's why a lot of people want to know about it. Um, Colton says a follow up question for him would be, how does he see the Ohio State skill? I would say he's going to definitely get that question because a lot of people are going to want to know from your move down from the NFL to Ohio State. What have you noticed about Ohio State's roster, about how Ohio State does things? And obviously, he's going to talk a lot about how this feels very much like an NFL ran program. Every former NFL coach who coaches at Ohio State says that. So I think that's kind of the going answer that a lot of people are probably expecting to get with that one. As far as Jeffrey here, he says, "Is this helping our running attack?" yeah. How do you plan on improving Ohio State's running game in 2026? That would be a very good question to ask because I think obviously he can go a lot of different areas with that. He can talk about play calling. He can talk about line blocking, scheme, the offensive line running game scheme. He can talk about what he's seen in the running back room. He can talk about wide receivers doing a better job blocking. There's a lot of different things Arthur Smith can say about how he would plan to help the running attack in 2026. Speedy, what's up, buddy? Good to see you here, man, this morning. How much do you change the scheme of the practices when there are big time recruits, when big time recruits are visiting? Yes.
That's a great question.
Yeah, because I go back to when um, uh, Curry was here, Sean Curry from New Jersey, the big 6'7" tight end who was committed to Virginia, who decommitted from Virginia 2 weeks ago after being at practice. And what was Ohio State doing? They were running 13 personnel on the offensive line and goal line over and over and over again. And
Yeah.
a lot of people lost their minds over it. And I was like, look at who was there. One of the top recruits they're trying to get, and it's something they need to practice. Made sense to me why they were doing that. So I'm all about that. Um,
You know, Eric, I think if I had one question, just me, if I had credentials for a day, I think the first thing I would ask this guy is if you could say one thing directly to Ohio State fans about your offense, what it will look like, and why should they trust you, what would it be? Now, that's a question you'll never hear asked, but I think that is a question that should be asked.
he's going to get a lot of questions about why college. Are you
Yes.
enjoying your time at coaching college again? He's going to get questions about his relationship with Ryan Day. He's going to get questions about what skill set are you bringing from the NFL that can help you in college. He might get a recruiting question. I could see someone asking him about, now that you're recruiting, what's that like? So all of those questions are on the table. The most important thing for me to see today is not a question. It's not even how he or what answers he gives.
It's the way he gives them.
It's how he answers the questions. Does he look comfortable and happy. I go back to a year ago, the first time we saw a press conference from Matt Patricia, and it was like the dude had a new lease on life.
Yeah.
Smiling, joking, so happy to be here. This is so much fun. Or is he going to be kind of Jim Knowlesy, rough, gruff, short answers, don't really want to be in front of you? I think it really gives off good vibes to the program and to the fan base when someone is excited to be at Ohio State and answering questions in that way. So that's kind of what I'm looking for today. I want to see a smiling guy, a happy guy, someone who's excited to be there, someone who's loving what he's doing again. To me, that means so much more than anything else. Colton Weaver says, I know we won't get the answer, but how aggressive are you willing to play? How aggressive are you willing to be when it comes to play calling? Um, yeah, I think there is a way to ask that. And Farah is she's on the same wavelength as I am. She's looking for energy like Matty P gave. Absolutely.
That's going to be hard to find because he had I mean, now when you look back, Chip Kelly came in. He was Smiles. He was a guy who was not really Smiles. He
He
was
was in
Chip Kelly
between.
smiling.
He was in
Uh,
between. Yeah.
he was that guy though that you could tell had his life rejuvenated
Sure.
because of the fact that he didn't have the stress he was feeling as a head coach.
Right.
Uh, Matt Patricia, oh my gosh, if you give Dylan Kuhn a ball cap, an Ohio State ball cap, that's kind of what he reminded me of.
Yeah, exactly. All
But
right.
yeah,
So I think we are ready. He is not going to the podium. They are doing this in the practice facility, ladies and gentlemen. That is interesting. Let me get get the feed pulled up here for you guys. It'll take just a couple seconds to do so, and then we will jump into hearing Arthur Smith for the first time via a microphone in front of the media in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center practice facility. So not getting the podium. Not getting the podium is one Arthur Smith. All right, let's see here. Want to make sure that we got him. Looks like I'm having trouble adding him to the scene here, Chris. Aha, there we go. Got it. All right, let me share my screen. Here we go. I'm going to go back to the beginning so we don't miss anything. Make sure we got the audio turned all the way up. Some of you have complained about that before. All right, this is as loud as it's going to get, guys. Here we go.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's the little bit of thing you pride yourself. We're always talking to players about growing, having that growth mindset, getting out of your comfort zone. And for me, it was a good challenge of where I'm at in my career, and just the nuances. The rules are a little bit different. The spacing too, the hashes are wider, so just a lot of film evaluation. It helps with guys that have been here on the staff, and you're picking their brain and watching a lot of tape, and you figure it out. And so kind of adapt to certain things.
How about dealing with different grown-ass men and kids who are coming in 17, 18, that communication, how have you adjusted? Has it been refreshing or has it been a challenge?
Well, I guess in my career, I've been lucky. Probably had more quarterbacks than anybody. So I had guys that are rookies, and then I had Aaron last year, who's my age. So I've had him at every end of the spectrum. So obviously these guys are closer to a lot of the rookies I've coached. It's a very mature group. I mean, I knew that just from the kind of type of character and the guys that I've been around. We had Will Howard last year. I had Justin Fields. We drafted Jack Sawyer. I had Jeff Okuda in Atlanta. We traded for, drafted Zach Harrison. Coach Day's done a great job, not only getting great players, but great people in here. And that's made it fun too. I mean, take a guy like Julian. There's a lot he can handle, and I think he's very mature, very intelligent, and so it's been fun to work with him.
Interesting, Chris, that right off the bat, he talks about all the former Buckeyes who he has coached in the NFL. And he gave Ryan Day a lot of credit for that. I thought that was an interesting answer when asked about the maturity level of the quarterback room.
And let's not forget, he coached under a former Buckeye as well with Tennessee.
Yeah. Vader says he needs to grow a beard, though. He's trying to look younger, Vader. Come on, man. Come on. All right, let's get back to it.
Yeah, I didn't know him, really well personally. We'd crossed paths. I've talked to him the last couple of years, coming through here on Pro Day. Obviously knew a lot of people that had played for him or had worked with him, and had a lot of mutual admiration from afar.
How much did you talk to Will Howard about this?
I talked to Will a good amount. I talked to Justin, Jack, guys that have played here. Mike Vrabel, Vrabes didn't obviously play here for Ryan, but he knows Ryan really well, and kind of getting the whole picture. I mean, I know from afar because I love the history of this game and understand how important this place is, and especially in the history of football.
What do you think the adjustment will be to the college game, just in terms of dealing with a different age of player? That's a different game.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously you adapt. You've got players that are a little bit younger. They don't have some of the experience. Obviously, when you're getting guys that are rookies, I mean, they're coming. When take example, you draft a guy like Bijan Robinson. He's a rookie in the NFL and he's got a great experience coming out of college. These guys are at different points in their career. And I always look at myself as a coach. I mean, you're a teacher too, and a teacher really first. So it's fun to go back and evaluate and try to get creative in the way you're teaching with these younger players.
What those guys tell you? Those guys you talk to, did you talk to you about the expectations here? I mean, what's sort of the general gist?
Yeah, everything. I mean, just the school, what the program means to so many people. I mean, it's one thing to study from afar, and I haven't been here very long, but just kind of doing my research. And I always look at, you don't go to Ohio State if you don't welcome those expectations. And it's the same thing in the NFL. The expectation to win every Sunday, and you love that challenge as a competitor, and it's kind of what gets you going as a coach.
Okay, what's the process like for?
What's that?
Did you go back and review the Indiana and Miami games to see what the situation was with that?
I watched all the.
Before he answers this question about the past games at the end of last season, I just wrote down this quote. You don't go to Ohio State if you don't welcome those expectations. I think it's pretty clear, Chris, that he knows he's here. He has to win.
Yeah, agreed.
There's no beating around the bush with this one. Like you're here to win. This isn't a second level tier program. He also said he had a lot of respect for Ohio State. He's mentioned that twice now in his answers, that when thinking about Ohio State, he compared it to the history of football, and then being here. And then one real other quick nugget, Chris, and I'll let you jump in. He says, when asked about Ryan Day, he says, we've crossed paths at the NFL workouts and things like that here in the facility before. But this is not a Ryan Day guy. This is not someone who's friends with Ryan Day, a family member, old buddy from the past. This is a professional. You're here because I believe in you calling plays, not because you're my buddy.
Yeah, and that I think is going to be beneficial. What it shows is I think that Ryan Day is, maybe growing a little bit. He's learning how to trust outside of his immediate circle. And, I still think that, even though they may not be besties, believe me, I think Ryan Day is probably the first call he made when he went to hire Arthur Smith was probably to Mike Vrabel. And he probably said, hey, can this guy handle the pressure cooker that is Ohio State? Can this guy come in here and tell me what he can do for us? And I think he liked what he heard. Like you said, they're not best friends, but obviously he has a lot of respect for what this guy can do professionally.
Indeed. All right, here we go. Let's keep it going.
Games from last season, just got here, had nothing but time. You're moving here, you're in transition. So I got nothing but time on my hands right now to dive in, to get get a feel for it. Obviously, there's a lot of things that you're looking at just schematically. Some of the things you're talking about adapting to the college game, absolutely.
How do you expect the coordinator call plays if it's not getting one properly up there? Something like that can be struggle. So it's fast. And I'm not talking
Well,
about that game. Just what can you guys do? You and Coach Bo to get that figured out, get that back where it needs to be.
well, there's a lot of things. I mean, you're looking at it, and it's a new year, right? We've got great depth in the O-line room. A lot of things you look at. You kind of after action, even when you win big games, you need to go back and look at it with a critical eye, because there's sometimes you look at things that kind of got away with something, or a player makes a play kind of off schedule. So you look at everything. You just want to be fundamentally sound. That's across the board. So we're always looking to improve. We know we got a lot of work ahead of us before we start this season. But there's a constant evaluation. I mean, whether you win or lose, you really need to objectively look at yourself, and that's kind of the nature of the job if you want to do it right.
You talked about having February to spend all that time and get rolling. Been a new coach in multiple spots, and you're reviewing. What's the first thing you're looking for? I know you said it's a lot of things, but when you turn on that tape the first time, what are you looking for?
Just looking for the personality of the players that are coming back. You're getting a feel for it. What they've been running. Where you think the skill sets are. I mean, some of it's obvious. I mean, you look, the talent level from afar, but you're looking at it comparatively to your top competition. So really, it was looking at the guys that we have coming back, kind of learning the schemes, what they've been taught, what they ran a lot of, like what were their kind of go-to. I mean, there's a lot going on, and you try to be objective and not rush to judgment. I mean, that's easy to sit back. I wasn't here, and you can get cynical or get too critical, and that's kind of the easy thing to do. But just purpose was to get a feel for what they know, really the talent we have coming back, their personalities, their characteristics.
Do you want to do that alone, or do you want someone?
Well, watch it. A lot of times later. I mean, I watch it by myself, and then guys that have been here, that were on the staff, they can kind of fill in the blanks. What they called things, why they called it. So yeah, it's not just a snap judgment the first time.
Cover your hands.
Oh, we got a stupid commercial. Hold on.
We like commercials, don't we?
Last year, you guys had it.
Not really.
Could have done anything. Right?
Anything you want to mention before we jump back in?
I wondered how long it would take for him to start commenting on the offensive line. I don't know. Did you notice that he was right in there on the offensive line again?
He also mentioned scheme at once. He brought up the word
scheme.
scheme. But he's not
giving away anything, but
No. I think some of the questions he's getting, when even though they might appear or sound like they're direct questions, he's not that he's deflecting. He's just not going to give away like, oh yeah, we're going to be running this personnel a lot more because this is who we have. And
he's answering questions like Ryan Day answers questions, Eric. That's what he's doing right now.
And I'll be honest, he does not appear like, I don't want to say he's not comfortable. I just don't think that he is oozing the type of, gosh, I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah.
That Matt Patricia did a year ago. So, but that might not be his personality either. So I don't want to just throw him under the bus here and say I'm not as excited about this as I was a year ago with Matt Patricia, because I was not excited about the Matt Patricia hire. And then after the fact, it got me super excited because he did so well. So, I don't.
Let's also remember, Matt Patricia was a guy who was basically chased out in a sense.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith, yes, he was let go, but that's because his head coach was let go. So I almost feel like he was still very much taking calls from the NFL when he was hired by Ohio State.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know that there's quite that level of relief that Matt Patricia had in Arthur Smith right now.
Well, I think Matt Patricia could have coached at a lot of different places.
I think he could have,
but
I think he needed the change. I don't know that
yeah,
Arthur Smith needed the change, but I think that he accepted the challenge. And again, I think it was more relief for Matt Patricia than there is with Arthur Smith.
Interesting. All right, let's continue.
Why did you decide to become a coach? You could have done anything.
Wow. I mean, I didn't know any different. And, I've always loved this game. I mean, the game's given me so much. I mean, started playing. It's taken me a lot of cool spots, met a lot of great people, friends, lifetime friends from playing and then coaching. And there's very few jobs. I mean, not too many jobs where you feel the highs and the lows like this. And it gives, you wish you could still play. I mean, some guys like Aaron, they play to their 40s. Those guys are outliers, but there's nothing like it. I like to teach. I love the game. I love the strategy. And, so maybe, it's not for the well-adjusted. So maybe I'm not well-adjusted.
In Pittsburgh last year, you guys had a really even split between 11 personnel and multi-tight end packages.
Mm-hmm.
How do you determine that distribution? Is it a week-to-week thing, like matchup based, or is it more on the personnel
Well,
you have?
your roster can change, obviously, as you guys know. We've got a great depth at wideout too. So, different years, it depends on where the strength of your team is. My first year in Atlanta, we had some games where we were down some wideouts, and your job is to problem solve. They don't care on the other side. And we had a 2-minute drive against Miami in 21. I think we called fast 23 personnel where we had Lee Smith. Most of you guys probably don't know. I think he told me it was his first time he's ever in 2 minutes. And kind of just, and that, the lessons I learned from my old man. He was an old Marine in Vietnam, and you do the most with what you got. And so I've done it that way. And we had Kyle Pitts and Cordell Patterson basically split out as your Z and the X, and we went down and won the game that way. And then obviously, if you've got a great receiver room, you may be in a little more 11. And so that's assessing and understanding your roster and, where your best players are. And then, sometimes schematically comes down to matchups. If you think you can get somebody that plays base, maybe that gives you an advantage. And that's what you're looking at all the time.
Arthur, is there ever such a thing as giving the ball too often to Jeremiah Smith?
No. I got asked that if I gave the ball too many times to Derrick Henry, and I'd also argue that I didn't. Derrick, I think, carried the ball more than anybody in the postseason run in 19.
What stood out about, being around Jeremiah with him?
Yeah, obviously I've seen him on film and heard a lot about him, but getting to know him, I'm just really impressed with his mindset. He doesn't feel like you're dealing with a college player. He feels like a veteran to me. He's a very, what I appreciate about him is he's got great humility for somebody that's that talented and has had the success he's had. And you understand that he's a unique weapon, but he's a great person. I've enjoyed my conversation with him and just trying to help him expand his game because I think the potential is, limitless.
All right, Chris, anything you want to jump in on that, man?
No, go ahead.
So Aaron says, "Thank you, Jesus. More 11 personnel."
Yeah.
So yeah, the question came out about 13 personnel, two tight ends.
Well, we knew it would.
2 and 3 tight end sets, and basically he's going to run to the personnel, man. And we knew that this, just because he had a tendency in the NFL to run more tight end sets, he was also, like he pointed out, I had Derrick Henry on my roster.
Yeah.
And
you've got a guy who's been training with Derrick Henry on your roster.
A good point. Touche. That's a good point. So we need to keep that in mind when you are looking at the perspective that Arthur Smith has here. Is he maybe in an NFL place where he had to make sure he put more tight ends on the field in order to give his best player more opportunities to find holes and do better in the running department? He's got more weapons here when it comes to wide receiver, and so placating to that, as opposed to I'm going to fit this square peg in this round hole over and over and over again. I think that I'm like Missouri. I'm the show me state. I need to see it with my own two eyes to believe it. But it's a good answer. It was a better answer than saying no. We're just going to run 13 personnel until we're blue in the face. That's just what we're going to do. Vader's happy with the answer as well. So when Vader's happy, everybody's happy. So.
Because nobody's getting force choked.
Correct. Correct. All right, here we go. So, good to see you, Lisa. So we're going to continue on here with the press conference. It looks like he's got another answer or two here, and then that's it possibly. So let's see, because we're behind everybody else already. So, um, here we go.
Julian Handel,
Yes.
you were getting to know him. How does that stand out for that?
Well, what you're going to ask him to do, how you may want to package things. If you got a player that can handle that, assuming that the other 10, I mean, you're evaluating that and what you're putting on his plate. It's one thing if he can do it all, but if the other guys can't handle it, well, then you're kind of wasting your time. But it really allows you to package things, and there's a lot of things that's pretty common. I mean, I imagine there's several colleges that may get to it differently with signals, and I know it's changed now because they've got the quarterback communicator from those big signs and the people in the highlighter things that kind of gone away, but things you're trying to assess. And, that's the chess game you're playing on Sundays. You get coordinators, and obviously Coach Patricia's here. I mean, those are the daily chess matches, which obviously helps him, and his goals and aspirations at the next level.
Chris, what do you think about that, man? Being a
What?
former,
Poke.
go for it.
I love the fact that he poked a little bit at. He made a couple little pokes there. He pokes at obviously Michigan and their little cheating scandal when he talked about the. Obviously, we now have communications in the helmet, but did he poke at Matt Patricia a little bit there?
A little bit.
A little bit of poking at Matt Patricia. I think that's good. I think a little bit of, we like to say iron sharpens iron. That holds over to the coaches as well. And if they are matching up, or if they are already in spring practice mentally matching up against each other and trying to outdo the other, man, I think that says a lot of great things for both these guys and for our offense and defense.
Well, that's some high level teaching that's going on with those players then. That's some NFL. And one of the things Matt Patricia mentioned a year ago is you need to introduce NFL concepts in a way that they understand.
Yes.
And if he can do that, if Arthur Smith can do that on the offensive side, advantage Ohio State, because we already have an NFL mind in Ryan Day who's understanding what he's going to do. It's one of the reasons why Ryan Day didn't trust Brian Hartline. Brian Hartline was not mentally at a play caller level that Ryan Day was.
Correct.
And this guy is. So I think for more than anything here, this hire, I think, is peace of mind for Ryan Day, which is huge, I think, for Ohio State.
Well, we saw what happened when he had that comfort level in 2024.
Yeah. All right, let's get back into it.
And what all goes, happens in that office or comes across his desk, so you're a little more empathetic and you try to do your job really well so you can take that stress off him so you didn't have to worry about the unit responsibility he gives you. And it's a big part of our job, and that's probably why you use that term. You understand there's a lot that goes on in that job besides just coaching on the field. And so do your job really well. It just takes something off his plate.
Coach, thank you.
What's that?
What's the education process for you?
It means a lot to a lot of people. One of the first texts I got was from Taylor Lewan, told me that I was a traitor, even though I had no ties to that. I was a North Carolina guy. So I understand that rivalry, it's obviously it's a huge game, and looking forward to being part of it.
Coach, thank you.
Oh, that's the question they ended on, Chris. Rivalry.
Tyler Lewan, what an asshat that guy is.
Who's he?
He was an offensive tackle for the Scumsuckers there, and then he went on to play for. I can't remember. He's played for a couple of NFL teams, I believe.
Yes.
He's had a very successful NFL career.
Okay. All right. Yeah, he played for Tennessee. That's why he knows him. And he played for Michigan from 2009 to 2013, and he called him a traitor.
He's a loudmouth, ignorant idiot. He was one of the people defending everything during the cheating scandal.
How about this answer? Aaron says, I'm so confident about the offense now.
I have confidence in this offense. I've had confidence in this offense. I'm with you though, Eric. I still got to see it. I got to see it. He talks the good game, but is he going to back it up? I think
my
he will.
initial my
I think he
initial
will.
reaction, I would have rather have seen this press conference behind a podium in a more sterile, quiet environment.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
The fact that they put a table down and threw a microphone up in the right on the practice field right after practice, that felt a little janky
High
and
schoolish.
well, it felt a little odd, and I think he felt odd about it. That's probably the first time he's ever done a press conference at a table with microphones and recorders on the practice field like that. Like, um, he's used to standing behind a podium, answering questions about games, about players. Um, so I don't know, man. I come away from this needing to hear more. I need to hear
But
him
was
again.
that the intent? Was that the? Do they want you to want to hear more right now? Because if your focus is on wanting to hear more from Arthur Smith, you're not bothering everybody else.
Great
You're not worried
question,
about everybody
Lisa.
else.
Will Arthur Smith be able to go out on the road and recruit? I heard that he can because they changed the rules. Did you hear about this rule change, Chris?
I have not heard about the rule change yet, Eric.
They changed it from 10 to 16 coaches are allowed to go out on the road and recruit.
Well, I absolutely want to see him on the road recruiting.
He should then, yeah.
I mean, this is a guy. One of the big things that Brian Hartline had going for him was his NFL experience when he first got to Ohio State. That was one of the things he could cash in on when he was out there recruiting. Arthur Smith can do that. Matt Patricia can do that. They can cash in on that. Listen, we've been at the highest level. We know what it takes for you to succeed at the highest level. When we get you to that level, and I think that goes a long way.
So here is the change to the rule for you, Lisa. Last Thursday, the Division I Football Bowl Subdivision Oversight Committee approved a waiver, so this was a waiver, to increase the limit on off-campus recruiters to 16 for this year's spring contact period, which lasts from April 15th through May 23rd. No more than 10 coaches will be allowed on the road at one time, however. So still 10 on the road at once, but if one of them comes off the road, he can be replaced by someone else. So if you're smart, what you do is you go out, your offensive recruiters go out, and they're like, hey, this guy needs to hear from you. And then when they come off the road, then Arthur Smith can go on the road
Yeah.
And recruit. So
you hook them and I'll clean them and fry them.
you can't have 16 at once. It's still 10 at once, but you can't have as many as 16 total, but only 10 at one time. So I hope that clarifies the rule for everybody. It's a little unique, and it's only it's only for this spring. It's not indefinite. So from April 15th through May 23rd. So that's what, 4 weeks?
They're testing the waters.
There's a 4-week span where they're going to allow that to happen. So, Sage says Eric wants to hear player breakdown. I want to hear everything, dude. I ain't gonna lie. Like I wish I could ask some of the questions. It bugs me sometimes to hear some of the questions. Well, there was a question in there.
We had that great debate last night, Eric. We had that great debate about our role versus that of the
I know.
the credentialed media.
Yeah. Lisa says he didn't seem comfortable talking to the media like he was out of his comfort zone. I think he was out of his comfort zone.
Well,
I
if
just
somebody
think
threw a
that
table down in front of you, like you said, Eric, somebody just threw a table down with a microphone on it in front of you in the middle of a practice field.
now
how-
hold
how
on.
are you gonna react?
I would be very comfortable talking to everybody with a microphone in my face at a table. Come on.
Well, yeah, but you do that every night, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day.
True. Touche. You're welcome, Lisa. Speedy says, let's see, I'm going to give everybody time to read that real fast. Speedy says, I am encouraged by the fact we're getting another NFL level coach steering the offense. Last time that happened, we won the Natty at offense. Yeah. Do you count Chip Kelly as NFL guy? I don't. He was a college guy who went to the NFL
Yeah.
for a few years. And then what happened when he didn't succeed? Returned to college.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith is not a college guy who went to the NFL. He's an NFL guy. Matt Patricia wasn't a college guy who went to the NFL. He is an NFL guy. They both have spent the majority of their coaching careers in the NFL. Now, I understand why some people would say Chip Kelly is NFL-like because he was a head coach in the NFL. I get it. But to me, tell me if I'm wrong, I think Chip Kelly was a college guy who happened to be coaching in the NFL, a la Urban Meyer, Nick Saban,
Spurrier. And when you have the coaches that go that way, it typically does not work out real well. The ones that go from college to the program, it typically does not work out real well. However, going in reverse, at least at the coordinator level, we're seeing it be quite successful.
Yeah.
But as far as head coaching goes, not good.
Yeah. We're still waiting for some players. There's supposed to be 3 players take the podium next. I guess that's why they're doing it on the field. Carson Hinzman, Brandon Ennis. Who was the other one?
Luke
Montgomery. Gosh, why can't I remember Luke Montgomery? I don't know. Anyways,
those Ohio kids that you always like to talk about, Eric?
Yeah.
Why do you keep forgetting him?
I spent too much time following his brother in recruiting, I think, who ended up going to Alabama?
He ended up
quarterback.
Going away. He went away.
Yeah. True. Anywho, I'm with Lisa. I don't think he felt totally comfortable. I need to see it again. I need to see another interview with him. Was it just the fact that this was his first time at Ohio State, or is this just who he is? He's kind of like I'm going to give you some answers that I skirt around on the outside. Nothing is really dramatically, to the point facts and, that kind of thing. I need to see some more. I wasn't blown away.
I'm not going to judge the guy on how he speaks to the media. I'm just.
But I went into this press conference saying I want to see a happy, joyful guy who's excited to be here. I didn't get those vibes.
That's fair.
Maybe he's just really.
But again, that may not be his personality.
True.
Not everybody can be as happy and joyful as I am.
The one thing we got out of this press conference, though, Chris, is
more 11 personnel.
Yeah, we're going to run to the strengths of our offense, not how I want to run. All right, I think Carson Hinzman is taking the podium here, so let's go ahead and go back. This will be Carson Hinzman, ladies and gentlemen.
You only got about 50-50 coming back, and so
let me back it up. Let me back it up.
Kind of couple.
All right, here we go. This is going to be Carson Hinzman, everybody. Hopefully. It's trying.
He was on the team.
There we go.
No, I mean, I try to do the best I can, kind of getting around. Obviously, you want to start with your unit out. I think the guys we have this year, honestly, great. They're a great fit. I don't think we've had really any problems with anyone who's come in as either a young guy or transfer. I know we even got another offensive lineman coming this summer, but from what I've heard, he'll fit in as well.
Is this the future of college football? I mean, it's crazy a little bit, right?
No, and I think we've been kind of what you call? I think we've been pretty blessed over the past kind of couple years. When we had the Natty run. We had a lot of older guys that came back kind of when the portal started first opening like that. And then after that, we had to get a lot of young guys that stepped up this last year. So this is kind of the first year we've had really, dipped in that portal. And so as a whole team, I mean, you only got about 50-50 coming back. And so, but I think, if that's the way college football is looking, I think we've been doing a great job as it. I think the culture's been fitting everybody.
You find yourself as an older guy, though, wanting to spend a lot of time expressing to them what's expected here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. What is that? Yeah, I think it's just the standard. I mean, I think the standard's been the standard for, if you go ask, Orlando Pace, what the standard was back then being a Buckeye. I mean, to have a 6 on your helmet, you should have a little bit of, pardon my French, but shit to you. I think the guys come in here, they know that. I think they know the heritage of being a Buckeye. I don't think they've looked at it as a scapegoat or cheap or something that's sweet. I think they've been coming in and put their head down and working. So it's been cool to see that how fast they've kind of conglomerated, if I can talk, into the whole group. So I think the spring and then the summer is only going to be more opportunities to grow closer together as a team.
If you come to Ohio State, you need to have some SHIT about you.
That's right. I love it. I love it. That's
the quote of the day. There you go. That's the quote of the day.
That comes right from the Cade Stover School of Interviewing right there.
Yes. Hey, man, cows don't take days off.
Why should we?
Why should we? If you're going to come to Ohio State, you need to have some crap about you. That's another way of saying you need to have some dog. You have some dog in you, right? I'm the man. I'm better than you. I'm going to rub your face in it. That's offense. That's how you want your offensive line to be. They need to be big, nasty, mean SOBs. Yeah. That's how you win.
With that confidence that borders on arrogance. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. You go back to the 2014 national championship team, the no-name offensive line, right? No one knew who those guys were. Yeah. What did they call themselves?
The two guys that people knew were sitting on the sidelines nursing injuries.
Yeah. I forget what they called themselves. They had like a funny name nickname they gave the Snobs or Slobs, or was it the Slobs? I think it was the Slobs. But anyways, yeah, Ferris says you need to have testicular fortitude. Yeah. You know what? Playing offensive line is the most unsung position in college sports. You get no credit, and then you get peed on if you don't win and you don't do well for your quarterback and running backs. So
offensive line is that position where the only reason someone knows your name is because you screwed up.
Right. Exactly. All right, I love that quote. I wrote it down. I'm going to have to go back and pick up that exact quote and make a graphic. That's fantastic. All right. More Carson Hinzman. Give us some more, buddy.
Talking to Josh Fryer after the 2023 season heading into 2024, and he was a lot of like kind of Woody versus the world. If you guys have maybe heard some of the outside noise after another kind of rough postseason season for the offensive line.
Yeah.
Do you see any parallels between the sort of motivation you guys had coming off of that season and that sort of outside noise and this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think this season's going to be a great opportunity to kind of, show what we had, maybe rewrite some of our wrongs we had this last year. But I think more experience. We have, more skill work and stuff like that. I think our guys have only gotten better. And so obviously we have something to prove, but we can't let that kind of be the main driving force. I think the main driving force of the guys,
my dad never looked back at his old jeans after I gifted.
My dad and these old
together. If we just kind of nail down the fundamentals and stuff like that, which is exactly what we're doing this spring, I think we'll be a pretty solid group.
By the way, did you catch that, Chris? He said right the wrongs from last year.
Yes. Yeah. I love the fact that he's taking ownership. That comment tells me that the offensive line is taking ownership.
Yeah. Ferris says, I love how you guys do the press conferences. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We appreciate that. All right, continuing on.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that showing? Where do you think that comes from?
Yeah, probably the rehab room. You can see a lot of the old guys in there getting work in. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think just the fact that we can trust each other with our calls. I mean, even if Coach Patricia just putting in some BS defense like he always does, I think it's good for us that we can trust that. All right, like one way or another, I know we're going to get this done. Even if we're all wrong, we're all right because we know exactly where we're going. And so I think that being able to handle that communication as strong as a group. I mean, even in the NFL, you can see, teams need that crucial communication, and so to be able to work on that as a group that has experience now together is really special.
Do you think that Carson Hinzman is hanging out with Cade Stover in the off season?
He's becoming my favorite Buckeye
because
Dude!
he's got some great clips. Yeah. Well, whether we're right, all right, or we're all wrong, we're gonna be together. Well, man, even if Coach Patricia's throwing in some BS defense,
yeah. I love it. I love this guy. Okay, we went from the most milquetoast offensive coordinator interview ever to the greatest offensive line interview we've had in I don't know how many years, dude. This is freaking hilarious. He's becoming a fan favorite right before our eyes if people get to listen to this man speak. This is fantastic.
I want us to interview this guy. I really do. Oh
yes. Yes. Carson Hinzman went to the top of our list after this season when he graduates. We need to get him on the podcast.
Because we know he won't go on a podcast before he graduates. That was a bad.
Correct. I think he would be fun, though, man. All right, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got to be able to not only hold someone else accountable, but hold yourself accountable and allow them to hold you accountable as well, which is hard. Being a competitor and a prideful, person, we all are. And so to be able to put that aside and really take constructive criticism and not just criticizing, but actually giving some constructive feedback is important. Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes, I guess in layman's terms, if we go up to the line and for some reason we're not pointing the right guy, we're off, but every single person, including Jules and the running back, is on, we have a chance to make that play right. I mean, I think we had a play against Minnesota. This is before I even got here. I only heard stories of it where the line went completely the wrong way, and then CJ Stroud still threw a touchdown, and we're like, well, that looked cool. maybe I should put it in. But no, like if we're all wrong together, we can all make something right happen. I mean, really, right now we're looking at depth. We're looking at experience. We're looking at what could be the best fit for us right now. You obviously want to put the 5 best guys on the field, and so I think Coach Bowen's been doing a great job of evaluating that. I mean, literally just first day in pads after coming back from some of those guys in Miami and whatever, something like that. So shaking off some rust, but those guys come back to work, so it's been cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's been great. I mean, I think the best thing he does is be consistent. And so I think, knowing what you're going to get with him every day is good because now you know how to respond, you know how to work on yourself, work on your own skills and stuff like that. And so I think for him to continue to come in with the same, we got to get better. We got to have more velocity off the football. We got to play more violent and that kind of stuff to kind of pound the nail on that has been really good for us.
Interesting answer right there about Julian. Consistency. He's consistent every day. I thought that was interesting. You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, last year we saw the same thing though, Eric. He was the model of consistency.
Yeah.
He showed flashes of greatness, but he did have a few downfalls, but for the most part, he was just out there completing passes. As Ryan Day likes to say, doing routine things routinely.
Yeah. But no, I never really thought about that from an offensive line perspective. That's really important from an offensive line because if he's consistent, he does the routine things routinely, and he does those things, then you don't have to worry about, hey, on this particular play, all of a sudden he's going to take off on you, right. And like, what are you doing? Like, we're trying to give you, 5 seconds of time in the pocket, or we're pushing the defensive lineman who's rushing on the edge, I'm pushing him out so that you have a lane to run, or you could, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden he's peeling out and right into the arms of so which is what I think a lot of the issues were up in Ann Arbor last year with Underwood. Was there was a lot of improvising from Underwood and the offensive lines, like,
I think the
how's
problem
that
was
our fault?
they were all high and just didn't know what was going on from smoking weed in the locker room.
Yeah, I mean, hot boxing is a thing up there. Okay, continue on.
Mm-hmm.
Why was it important for you to come back, and what went into that decision? Just kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, there's a place called Original Pancake House, and I love the Ashley Waffle Dream there. I couldn't leave it. No, I love the guys around here, man. I mean, there's very few and far between refined cultures that are this close, that are really good football players. And so I think to come back and continue to work on myself, work on the skills I have to try to, better myself for this upcoming season, to hopefully get maybe a little higher spot and potential draft this next year, Lord willing. And so to come back and continue to work on myself, work on what I can do for this team is important to me.
Where are those areas that you're talking about? Where do you want to see your biggest growth this year?
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff everywhere. I mean, you can always fine tune everything. I mean, like my footwork, being stronger in my core. I think, working on my hamstrings, being able to pull away from the line quicker is going to be really important. Be able to land punches and be firm at the point, and not just, kind of walling with guys, but actually driving through people on the run game is going to be important as well. But that there's a ton that comes with that. But at the end of the day, it just comes down to intent. Just continue to work on my intent, and not thinking or processing, just going to play football.
When you think about where you were a few years ago, redshirt freshman coming in, thrust into the lineup to where you are now.
Yeah.
What are the biggest things that feel different now?
I have more facial hair, and I have blonde hair. That's the big thing. That and the game slowed down a little bit. I mean, it'll still get you sometimes with, coach, having two NFL caliber, O&D coordinators right now. They'll get me on some stuff. I mean, I know Coach Patricia, even today, I was like, I don't know why you're running. Like, it's just crazy stuff. And so, but that only makes you better as a player because you've seen so much and be able to respond to so much. I mean, I feel really confident in my own ability, and I know the guys feel really confident in my ability to get us right, even if we don't know what the front is exactly.
What, since you've gotten here, what's different about you now? I have facial hair.
He said something in there, Eric, that makes me wonder a little bit.
Yeah.
And is it just a little bit of confusion right now, or is it something that some of these guys are struggling with? Because he talked about the fact they had two NFL coaches going back and forth. They didn't always know exactly what the front was. They didn't always know what exactly was going on. Does that concern you at all? That maybe they're trying to implement too much of the NFL into the college game right now too early?
No, because I think if you're confused now, the light bulb can go off.
Yeah.
If this is the type of year where not only do you work on your skills, right, and improving yourself as a player, but you're also trying to put in little things that are going to be big things down the road when it comes to the scheme. And so that actually, I think, is a positive thing, because that means they're changing some scheme things.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So, all right, Carson Hinzman, keep making me laugh. You're doing a great job.
He's been great. He keeps promising A-Rod's going to come in, and being a Green Bay Packer fan, I'm going to hold him to it, hopefully. But he's been awesome. I mean, I think for him to – when we first came in, he gave us like a 15-minute PowerPoint of – it's not really PowerPoint, just kind of like a bunch of film of guys just like laying out like dudes on the field and stuff like that. That's how we're going to play. And I love that mentality to come in and be physical and, establish dominance of the offensive line. I think that's what he really wants to put in, is the mentality like, hey, we're going to run off the football. We're going to roll. We're going to, try to make those teeth click when we're first coming off. And so for him to, again, pound the nail again on violence, I think is important for us.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. The next best thing is hopefully get some free shipping from him, but I don't know. We'll see about that.
Free shipping.
It was special. I as soon as I see that, you think about all the guys that played here before. I think that's kind of where the emotions hit me kind of after the game. Like, it's all those guys like Donnie and Josh and Jimmy and Toby and Zen and all those guys that I've played with in the past. I didn't get a chance to get some of these, and it'll be pretty special to get my mom. I think she'll be pretty excited about that. Unfortunately, it didn't come with the actual chain. It just came with the charm, so I have to go to get somewhere that doesn't turn your neck green. Go get a nice chain from there, or just get a nice, really thin piece of rope. But yeah, it's pretty special to be able to finally get some of those and be proud of that.
All right, Carson, thank you very much.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
There's Carson Hinzman.
He
Interesting.
wants
He
to
talked
get
about
free
his.
shipping.
Well, he was talking about his gold pants, right?
Yeah.
That's what that was, right? Get my gold pants, and I need to get a chain. Didn't come with a chain. I did not know that. Did you not know that?
No, I did not know that.
That's wild, dude, that it doesn't come without a chain. I did not anticipate that at all. Dude, right now, straight up, let's just be honest. Carson
awesome.
Hinzman. Carson Hinzman's awesome.
He's the man.
Yeah. That was
when we go to summer practice this year, Eric, we are going to have to seek out Carson Hinzman.
yeah, of course, dude. Absolutely. They just shut down that I don't think we're getting anybody else, man. That was it. They just shut it down, the feed. So okay. We were anticipating
How do you follow up Carson?
yeah, if I'm a player and I'm watching that and he's holding court, I would probably bow out too. I'd be like, yeah, I think we're better off not going down this path, guys. Thank you very much. So hopefully some of the media members who are there will actually get to record some of the interviews, hopefully, guys. That would be nice. But yeah, we don't. The feeds are done. Like Ohio State shut off the feed. Okay. Well, that's that. We got
Carson
Arthur
Hinzman
Smith.
broke the internet.
Yeah, we got Arthur Smith and Carson Hinzman. I love it. Fantastic. Your initial reaction from these interviews today, Chris?
I still am in wait and see mode with Arthur Smith, but I feel good about things. I feel even better after hearing Carson talk.
Yeah.
I feel more confident in this offensive line based on the confidence that he is exuding right now.
Yeah.
This is the guy who is your leader on the offensive line. Make no mistake about it. And we talk about his humor. We talk about his very matter-of-fact way he talks about things. It is very reminiscent of kind of the vocal leader that Cade Stover was when he was at Ohio State.
Yeah.
And I love that. I absolutely love it. I think that what we are seeing is very promising right now.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I am very happy with some of the changes that we heard about. He's not married to 12, 13, 14, 15, 18 man personnel. Like he's not married to playing multiple tight end fronts all the time.
Well, he's got to do something to combat Matt Patricia's BS defense.
Yeah. Right. And based off of what Carson Hinzman was saying there, being violent at the attack, making teeth chatter, it sounds like we have a very aggressive running scheme for the offensive line. And I wonder if they're going to be changing a little bit from gap, to more of a personnel mano man on man.
Which honestly, Eric, was where last year we struggled a bit at times with that.
Well, I mean, I'm not a huge gap guy. I'm just not. Zone blocking scheme, whatever you want to call it. Like I want my linemen to fire off the ball and push the
Hit
defensive
somebody.
line.
Yeah.
That's what to me that fits the attitude and mentality of most Midwestern offensive line guys who we recruit. So Tyler says, I've heard we're going to more of a wide zone scheme. I mean, if it works, I don't care what scheme we run. I want it to work. But I just want my offensive line firing off the ball. That's what I want more than anything. I don't want them to be thinking. I don't want them to be slow to react. Just fire off the football, man. Go, and like you said, Chris, go hit somebody. Like
Yeah.
Carson Hinzman said there, violent on attack, make teeth chatter.
Yeah. You think about the great offensive linemen Ohio State has had, guys like Orlando Pace, Corey Stringer. These guys were not just hitting their guy at the line of scrimmage. They were taking him into the second level and taking on another guy with them.
Correct.
That's what I want to see. I want to see guys who hit people, knock people over, get to the second level, start taking on, get an offensive lineman on a defensive back and watch him fly into row C. That's what I want to see.
Yes, exactly. No, I do as well. I'm really looking forward to hearing Brandon Ennis's interview. Hopefully, like I said, someone in the media who's there is going to record it and post it. Unfortunately, we are not. So we're at the whims of Ohio State and their feeds. So that's what we have to do. So
Lisa made a comment that I think is very much exactly why we've not made the move to ever try to get credentialed, Eric. You're afraid that I'm going to say something that gets us kicked out of Ohio State for life or longer.
a little bit.
And God help us if we ever would have sent Aaron.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Aaron would have corrected him. Aaron's a football dude. He would have corrected him in his question. Why did you run this when you know you should have been running that because that was their weakness and you could have exploited that, but you didn't. You chose to do this and that was the wrong decision. Why did you make the wrong decision? That would have been Aaron's question. Aaron's a football whiz, man. He knows it.
Yeah.
All right. So this afternoon, I will have a video for you, a recruiting video for you. Check that out. We'll be back tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern. Chris, myself, Mika, and Nate. Mika defends her title tonight against me and Nate over on Patreon. She has
and
that
what
Jeopardy.
I promise you is going to be a challenging game of Jeopardy.
Ooh, is it going to be no one knows any answer at all?
No, I'm making legitimate questions, and people should know the answers.
Like Eric did last time.
I could give you all a preview of just the categories I'm running.
Sure. That's an advantage for me. I'll take it.
Is it an advantage just for you, though, Eric? Because anybody who's watching is going to get that advantage.
True, but I don't think Mika's watching. She's away from her home today.
So,
and Nate's at work.
Our categories.
Okay.
Greatest plays in Buckeye history.
Ooh, Holy Buckeye.
Award-winning Buckeyes.
Okay.
You think you know me. By the numbers.
Ooh.
And Buckeye brain teasers.
That's great. I'm looking forward to this. That sounds fun. So hang out with us over on Patreon tonight. 8 o'clock is the live show here on YouTube. At 9 o'clock, we head over to Patreon. Mika defends her Buckeye Jeopardy Championship against me and Nate. Let's see if she can win 2 in a row. Or let's see if Nate or myself can sneak in there and find a way to win that belt from her as Chris takes over Alex Trebek's job tonight.
I'm so excited for this.
Thanks for watching. Smash that like button if you haven't already. We appreciate all of you. Again, check out the video later on. We'll see you tonight at 8 o'clock. Till next time, OH.
I hope.
Go Bucks.